Hey TPT sellers, is personalized search coming back to TPT? Or another way to think of it is TPT going to start using artificial intelligence to customize teacher buyer results when they search a term on TPT? Maybe. My name is Mike Fuchigami. I am the host of the SEOTpreneur YouTube community. In this episode, we're going to talk about how TPT Search might change in the next coming months or years. This episode is for TPT hamsters and TPT hawks. If you don't know what I mean by those terms, check out the business course up there. If you're a TPT egg or a TPT tadpole, really, your stage of the game is learning how to create products, figuring out what people will buy, and trying to get at least 10 sales of the same product or the same product line. That's what I call a minimum viable product, and I talk more about that in the TPT business course, which is free, by the way. You just need to go back and watch that link. This is episode 18 of my Sunday TPT SEO secret series. I'm going to talk about how you can tell if personalized search is back on in TPT. We'll talk about how I think TPT did personalized search in the past. I'll go over what TPT might be doing with personalized search in the future. And then I'll sum up with some TPT SEO takeaways. If you've been watching the Sunday SEO series, you know that TPT uses a search algorithm company called Algolia. I found their developer manual, and for the last couple of months, we've been doing a deep dive into what the theory says. This picture is from the Algolia YouTube video that talks about the tie-breaking rules. Go watch this video up at the top for more information about how that works. Let's talk about how you can personally tell if TPT Personalized Search is back on using your own computer. Just for context, TPT has not always been using Algolia, and their search technology has changed over the years. So if you ever pay thousands of dollars for a TPT course made by a seller who started selling over 10 years ago, TPT search technology has changed, and make sure that course has up-to-date information. At the very beginning, TPT used something called MySQL. That's just standard database software. If you have a WordPress blog, you're using MySQL technology. Nothing wrong with MySQL, but it's not built for the complexity of today's search engines. In 2012, they switched over to a search engine called Sphinx. Sphinx is open source. And again, nothing wrong with open source. WordPress is open source. It means you can have a large community working on that search engine. But Sphinx had certain problems, which led TPT to invest in Algolia Search. So Algolia Search has been in the game since 2019. It is not a new search engine for TPT, but it is new to the discussion. I know from chatting with TPT sellers that some people in the community knew that TPT was using Algolia before I started talking about it. But to my knowledge, I don't know that people were talking about Algolia Search in the mainstream. I think people first heard about Algolia Search when I announced it on this YouTube channel. And I say that because it's important to realize that Algolia has been the search engine since 2019, even though I've only been talking about it since this year. So it's not a new search engine for TPT. It's just one that we're talking about in a new way. In August 2022 to April 2023, TPT did a personalized search experiment. And this is what TPT sellers think about when they hear TPT Personalized Search. There are some very strong feelings in the community. I believe some very big sellers said some very strong words about how sales were dropping. I think TPT also came out and said that the platform on a whole had more sales with personalized search. But that's secondhand information for me. I don't go to TPT town halls. I know TPT sellers who do, and they summarize some of the interesting things that they hear. But yeah, TPT Personalized Search, when you hear about that in the community, they're talking about the search experiment that happened in 2022 to 2023. And now I think a new version of personalized search or individualized search is coming to TPT Search. And I think that because at the last town hall meeting, I believe they mentioned that something was coming this way. So that's what this episode is about, trying to guess what that new personalized TPT search might look like. But right now, let's talk about how we can tell from our personal computer if personalized search is on TPT. There are three scenarios we need to consider. The first one is, what does search look like when you are logged in as a user? Because personalized search will kick in once it has enough information about your searching profile to start to suggest personalized results. It won't always kick in. It needs to have enough information about your personalization. But once it has that, when you're logged in and you're a user, we can find out whether it's giving you personalized results. The second scenario is what happens when you're not logged in. Do you get different results? And we need to test that by clearing our cookies. And so this is when TPT sellers say that you need to go into incognito mode to look at your search results. If personalized search is on, then yes, incognito mode can give you different results. The third scenario is to think about whether we get different results if we are in a different country. And we can tell that by setting our VPN to a different country or a different city to see if we get different results. Let's do this right now. I'm going to go to Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm going to search up something like Thanksgiving. And when I search up Thanksgiving and I've logged into my personal account and I've used my account enough that if TPT has enabled personalized search, it knows the kinds of resource I like to look at. So here are the results when I'm logged in, and I'm going to snap this to the left-hand side of my screen. And then I'm using Microsoft Edge because I have that set to delete my cookies. And I'm going to snap this to the right-hand side, and I'm going to look up Thanksgiving. Let's just zoom out to the same scale. So I can see that the first 3 results are the same and the next 4 results are the same. And if I scroll to the bottom, I can see the last 4 results are the same. So it looks like I'm getting the same results if I'm searching when I'm logged in as opposed to when I'm not logged in. Now, just for fun, I've turned on my VPN and I've set it so I'm in London, England. I'm gonna go to teacherspayteachers.com. I'll look up Thanksgiving. So these are the results that the system would give me if it thought I was in London. Let's snap this to the right-hand side. Let's zoom out. And I can see that the first 3 results are the same for Thanksgiving. The next 4 results are the same between the 2. And if I scroll to the bottom, the last 4 results are the same. So it looks like when I'm signed in as a user, or when I'm logged out with no cookies, or when I'm using a VPN with a different country, I'm getting the same search results. So right now, I'm not getting personalized search results. Now, TPT will probably introduce personalized search in a couple of different phases. In the first phase, they're going to do some A/B testing. Every time you go to Teachers Pay Teachers, you're randomly assigned either search engine A or search engine B, so that when you type in your results, you'll get the results from search engine A or search engine B. They're different versions of the same thing. So I think in the first phase of testing, what they'll do is the current TPT search engine, which has no personalized results, will be version A, and version B will be a very small sample that gets the personalized search results. And then they'll compare to see how things do. And eventually they'll figure out a way to make the personalized search produce better results than the non-personalized results. And when that happens, they'll turn on personalized search, and then they'll go into phase 2, which is now they'll test the personalized search engine against slightly different versions of the personalized search engine. And so in this case, both A and B will have personalized search results, and they'll just be tweaking the search engine algorithm to get the best personalized. So right now, I think we're in phase 1. There's no personalized search, but for a very small group of people who use TPT, I think they'll start to get this personalized search formula that will give different results. So give it a try. Go into a different browser that doesn't have any cookies set, or go into incognito mode, look up your product to see where you rank and see if it's different than when you're logged in. And then leave a comment below and let us know what you got. Because eventually what's going to happen is someone's going to watch this video and say, I got different results. And that's going to signal the start of this personalized search A/B testing. Did you learn something new? If you have, can you please like this video? I am super busy right now with the boot camp that we're doing, the 4-week bucket repair boot camp on the self-serve data tool side. I have my meeting later on today. We're going to talk about how you can use data to figure out which product descriptions to fix. Although the November boot camp is closed, there's still room in the January 2025 boot camp, so you can sign up. Just go to selfservedatatool.com, click on boot camp, and then click on sign up, and it'll take you down to the form. But if you've learned something new in this video, please like the video, because that tells me that you still want me to make videos like this, even though I'm super busy doing all these other things. I'll make it a priority if I get enough likes on this video. Let's talk about how I think the old way of TPT personalized search worked. I've actually made a couple of videos about this already. Check out this video from April 28th. It talks about what we know about TPT personalized search. And then in June 9th, I revisited this subject from the perspective of the Algolia search engine. I'm going to give a quick overview of the content of those videos, and if you want more details, check out the original video. Here's the image from the Algolia YouTube video about the tie-breaking system that they use. They have 8 tie-breaking rules. I think personalized search in August 2022 to April 2023 used the geolocation rule, which was rule number 2. The first 7 rules are applied by the Algolia search engine to figure out whether your TPT product matches what the teacher is searching for on TPT. We call that keyword relevance. Rule number 2 in Algolia is geolocation, and they figure out the location of the teacher searching based on either your coordinates, because your browser has asked you, Kate, this website's asking to know your exact location. Do you agree? And if you click on agree, then the website knows your latitude and longitude. Or most people don't do that. So what websites can do is we can infer where you are based on your IP address. So this geolocation rule would have given search results based on the teacher searching and your store location. And in order for you to show up in search, you have to show up first in the second rule, right? You have to be near the teacher searching as opposed to far. So for example, I'm making this up, but here's how it could have worked. Within 100 kilometers, maybe you were in the first group. If your store was 1,000 kilometers away from the teacher searching, maybe you're in the second group. If your store was over 1,000 kilometers away from the teacher searching, then you would have shown up in the third group. We've seen this technology in the Starbucks app. When you try to find a Starbucks close to you, it'll show you the results based on your location. And I think that's what TPT was tinkering around with. I've chatted with a few TPT sellers who said, oh, that's why I was getting so many results from my state. Leave a comment if you had a similar experience. Do you remember searching on TPT during personalized search and getting results from stores close to where you are? So that's why if you used a VPN, you got different results because your location was set differently. That's how I think personalized search happened back in the day. Was that new information for you? If it was, can you please subscribe to the channel? The number of followers of this channel has been growing steadily, and that encourages me to make more videos like this to help you and other TPT sellers like you. If you've already subscribed, high five you. Thank you for being part of the community. Can you leave a comment and let me know what you think about my geolocation theory? If the old way of doing TPT search was based on geography, among other things, what would the new way of TPT personalized search look like? That's a good question. So we know from the Algolia manual that they have personalization options, right? In the section about dynamic re-ranking, they give us a section about how the relevance strategies are applied. Now, this is older support documentation, and the technology that I'm going to talk about today is brand new. It's in beta. So it may or may not be the way that it's described now. Here's what the Algolia manual talks about with the current way of doing personalization. When a teacher looks up something on TPT, the very first thing that happens is that search term is looked up in the database, and the first 7 rules of Algolia get applied. And we call that textual ranking criteria. So the first 7 rules are in this light blue. And this figures out whether your product is relevant to the search term that the teacher is doing. And you can see why here, when I think TPT turned on geolocation, that would have skewed results and made major changes because geolocation is so high up in the order that it would have had a massive effect on search engine results. So these first 7 rules are about textual ranking criteria. And then the search engine looks at the keyword search term and it applies rule number 8, which is business relevance. And this is where it comes up with a custom ranking TPT SEO score based on, who knows, earnings, previews, the likelihood that your product's going to sell. This is the secret TPT SEO ranking score that we all try to guess what TPT is making a priority. Business relevance is rule number 8. It's the custom business metrics that TPT is using to sort the results. After business relevance, the Algolia search engine then applies personalization if TPT has enabled it and the engine has enough information to personalize results for the particular user who signed in. When I go to their personalization developer page, I can see that it says beta available. AI personalization is now available in public beta. Migrate now the personalized search results based on historical and predictive user affinities. So I'm going to talk in this episode about what this AI personalization is, but that help page makes me think that the AI version of personalization will kick in at this stage number 3. So a teacher searches up a keyword, it goes through the 8 tie-breaking rules, and then whatever the results are, personalization kicks in and it'll shuffle the results a little bit based on your personalization score. And after personalization, then TPT applies rules, and these are either to boost or bury specific categories. The 5th thing that happens is dynamic re-ranking. That's where if you're in the top 20 search results or the top 100 search results, depending on how attractive your resource is, i.e., are people clicking on your resource? Are people clicking on your resource and then looking at the preview or adding the wish list or buying? That's a signal to the TPT search engine that your resource is attractive. And based on your attractiveness, the top 20 or the top 100 results in TPT get a boost or drop from where their position should have been just purely on TPT SEO. If you want to learn more about dynamic re-ranking, check out that video up at the top here. After dynamic re-ranking, then the TPT search algorithm will either promote or hide specific items based on whatever hard-coded rules that they've added in. So bottom line is personalization happens after the 8 tie-breaking rules and before dynamic re-ranking. All right, so let's talk about what Algolia is doing with personalized search. It's in the beta testing phase for Algolia, which means they've tested it, it seems to work, and now they're letting lots of people test it. And Algolia is not charging customers to do this, so TPT could turn this on for free whenever they want. So I just Googled up Algolia Personalized Search, and I'll scroll down past the ads here, customized user experience with search personalization.
Here's the result I found from search.
So let's look at this together. Tailored experiences drive profitability. Show each user what they need to see across their journey. And then we get this image of a search simulator. And it says here, search as user Sarah Caudill. And in the simulator up here at the top, I can see it says brand Taylor Swift, score 10. Categories, albums, score 5. Categories, music, score 3. Categories, songs, score 9. So we can start to imagine how teacher users might have elementary, score 5. English language arts, score 9. Google Docs, score 3. So we can imagine how this will apply to TPT land. And then in their search simulator here, so this is what the TPT search engineers will be able to see. They can see it says AI personalization. They can search as this user, and then we can see the results that are being auto-suggested. For example, Taylor Swift and more Taylor Swift and then more Taylor Swift. Okay. And that's because up here it says brand Taylor Swift scores 10. So Taylor Swift products would have been given a boost in that personalization step. If I scroll down, it says manage one-to-one interactions at scale. And so the system will learn what individuals like. Okay, how does it do that? It talks about propensity scores for every user. Make your data actionable by scoring each customer across 100 plus attributes, including brand, price, category. Now, TPT will decide which categories or which elements to include in this AI model. So that means the system can learn based on the products that TPT sellers go to. It might start to notice patterns. Hey, this teacher, when they're logged in, they tend to click on products that are for pre-K to K that have these subjects: geography, social studies, US history. They like zip folders, so they don't like the Google Drive folder, or maybe they like the Google Drive product format. And then they look at the categories, the kinds of things you like. Oh, you like lessons and unit plans. Let's look at this image they have for propensity scores. So in this example, it looks like they're talking about eyeglasses. So what kind of eyeglass does this person like? They tend to like black eyeglasses or black frames, I guess. In terms of gender, the system has figured out that this person likes to look at men's eyeglasses, so men's products. It looks like this user has a score of 100% for looking at men's items, and the unisex items scores around maybe, 48%, 45%. So based on this propensity score pattern, I think the system will probably show you results that for men's products before it'll show you results for unisex products. And then I thought this was interesting. There's a section for price. I'm going to guess that these are products between $34 to $51. So it looks like this person's propensity score, it seems like this user likes products that are between $34 to $51. And so the system will probably show you resources that are $34 to $51. Interesting, because if we take that back to TPT land, we know that there are price categories. Oh, this teacher likes resources that are under $5, or this teacher likes resources that are between $5 to $10. So the system will start to suggest resources around the price range that you like to interact with, whether it's actually buying outright, but they're probably looking at signals like add to cart, view product preview, wish listed. Those are probably conversion event signals that TPT will say, you seem to look at the preview for a lot of resources that are $10 and up. I'm going to show you more resources that are $10 and up. If I scroll down in the Algolia blog, it talks about this result simulation. So the TPT search engineers can pretend to be a specific user, and then they can set up their attributes and then search to see what results will look like. And this is what personalization re-ranking will look like. So at the top, we have a user who's looking for the word star. They typed in STAR. And the system by itself, just without personalization, it would suggest A Star is Born, Star Wars, and Star Trek. But after personalization, the system will realize, hey, this person likes science fiction as a genre. So we're going to give a boost to science fiction products for this user. And so I can see that now Star Wars is more relevant. It shows up higher in search. Star Trek is more relevant. It shows up higher in search. And because these two items got bumped up, A Star is Born drops down in position because it's less relevant. What it means is our products that are related to the topics that the teacher buyer is interested in, those products will get a boost, regardless of how much money those products have made, because it's based on the user's search propensity. That's a tough word to say. If I scroll down to the manual, it talks about A/B testing. And so this means that TPT will be able to give some attributes a bigger weight factor than other attributes. If we go back to the propensity scores for this retail store, the system may decide, you know what, gender, the kinds of clothing that you want, that you're interested in, is not as important as the product type. And so even though eyeglasses has a lower propensity score than men's clothing or men's items, if the retail store decides, you know what, the function, the product type, the eyeglasses is more important than anything else, then the system will prioritize eyeglasses as opposed to men's items. So what do you think? This means that every single user account on TPT will start to have a profile based on how often you look at certain product types. This means teachers who like to download a digital download product will start to see more resources that are digital download. Teachers who like to get Google Drive products will start to see more resources that are Google Drive products. Personalization doesn't have anything to do with the keywords. It'll have to do with the price of your resource. So if this user only buys resources that are under $3, the system will start to show resources that are under $3. So your resource that might have ranked high for that keyword, that's $20, it'll drop down in position because it's just not as relevant for that user. But on the other hand, if another user likes to buy larger bundles and they like to buy resources that are over $10, then your resource that's $20 will get a boost because you're the kind of product that that teacher is looking for. This isn't something that we can game. It's not like, oh, I make resource for 8th grade English language arts, but I'm going to put my resource down here for 4th grade English language arts so that I show up for people looking for 4th grade. That's a horrible idea because you're just not relevant to those buyers. If the system notices that, hey, this user likes to buy resources that are lessons, and your resource is a lesson, then your resource will get a boost in personalization. Don't forget, first, we have keyword relevance and the business criteria. So the first 8 rules of Algolia, and that sets the default ranking. And then if personalization is turned on and the system has enough information to give you personalized results, then you'll get that personalization re-ranking effect. And your product will either get boosted up or dropped a little bit, depending on the user who's searching. And then after personalization has kicked in, then we have the rules to boost or bury categories, and then dynamic re-ranking happens. So just because you get a personalization boost, if your product isn't attractive and if people aren't clicking on that resource based on that search term, and you're the top 20, your resource will drop. Or more accurately, other resources in the top 20 will get a boost because they're attractive and they'll go up to the top. Did you learn something new? Can you please share this video in the Facebook communities or the TPT forum or other places that you hang out with TPT sellers, I believe in active citizenship. And I think when teachers and I think sellers hear that personalized search is coming back, they're going to have some strong feelings based on the old way of personalized search. That doesn't mean that the new way of personalized search is going to be better, but I don't think the new way of doing personalized search is going to be the same way as doing the old way, because I think that old way was based on geolocation. Change is hard. And whenever there's change, there are always going to be winners and losers. We know from experience that the people who lose or the people who drop in sales, they're going to be loud because they're going to be very concerned that they're losing sales. But if the system as a whole is doing better, people who are doing better aren't going to come out and say like, hey, I'm doing great. The search algorithm change was awesome for me. No one's going to say that because so many people are saying that their sales are down. But a video like this can help explain how, you know what? Here's how personalized search might be working. I'm sure TPT will come out with their own stuff because they'll want to make sure that there's a clear distinction between the old way and the new way of doing TPT search. I think a video like this can help us to understand what personalized search might mean and how it could be a good thing for everyone. So if you learned something new, or if you disagree with this video, can you please share it so that more people are talking about what personalized search might be? Let's summarize what we've talked about today. The first thing is that the new personalized search AI on TPT Search is not on yet, probably, but we should keep an eye out. Not everyone will see personalized search right away because they're going to do A/B testing, but eventually if they decide, hey, personalized search is producing more sales for the system, let's turn it on for everyone. Then we'll all see this. The question is really, do you get different results when you're logged in? And if you do, it means that personalized search is back. The next TPT takeaway is that the new personalized search system will probably be different from the old way that TPT did personalized search. I think the biggest difference will be based on that geolocation factor. The final thing to know, and this is something that no other TPT seller coach will be talking about unless they dive into the manual like I have, but personalization impacts TPT SEO after keyword relevance and TPT SEO score, but before dynamic re-ranking happens. So think of it this way. You do your keyword optimization and all your keyword research stuff first, and that is the first 7 rules of TPT SEO. And then after that, you've got your business metrics, and that determines your rank position. Then personalization will kick in, and you have no control over the personalized results because either teachers are looking for your stuff or they're not. You can't misrepresent what you are because that'll lead to either bad comments or bad attractiveness. And when your attractiveness drops, your dynamic re-ranking will drop for the first 20 or the first 100 resources on TPT. Lots of us use keyword tools. There's one in the Ultimate Bundle. If I go to TPT and type TPT Seller, and if I scroll down and click on the TPT Seller Tips and Tricks Ultimate Bundle, and if I scroll down in the Ultimate Bundle, which is only $10. And by the way, my price is going up very soon. Check out TPT Seller tip number 10. Basically what this tool does is if I search up a keyword like TPT Seller, it'll look at the TPT website and then it'll pull up all of the search results for that keyword so that I don't have to go manually through and click, try to find out where my product is. I just have to type up here part of my store name, and the system will pull up and say, hey, my product is ranked number 10 for this TPT Seller Tips and Tricks Ultimate Bundle. And I can see that for this keyword, the bottom result has 22 reviews, the top result has 201 reviews. And at a glance, I can see very quickly how my products are doing. So how are keyword ranking tools impacted by personalized search? Okay, well, the keyword ranking tool will show you the impact of dynamic re-ranking, but all keyword ranking tools cannot show the impact of personalized re-ranking because the way keyword ranking tools work is they are visiting the TPT website on your behalf from a server somewhere in the world. And that server is not logged in as a user or as you or as me or as the teacher who's searching. And personalized re-ranking happens based on the user account. This is actually a good thing. We just ignore personalized re-ranking when we do our TPT SEO stuff. And just understand that for teachers who want resources like ours, our resources will get a boost because of personalized re-ranking. And for teachers who don't fit the kind of resource we make, our resources will drop in personalized re-ranking. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, I have to go get ready for my Bootcamp Week 2 lesson that I'm teaching later today. And I'm excited because in the self-serve data tool, I've added this ability to see your preview effectiveness. So I can tell at a glance, look, this resource only has a 7% preview effectiveness. That means only 7 out of 100 people who look at that preview end up buying. This is a product where if I make a better preview, I'll probably increase sales. Whereas this resource has a 67% preview effectiveness rate, which means 2 out of 3 people who look at the preview end up buying. So in this case, fixing the preview isn't worth my time because there are other previews that need to be fixed that will probably be more bang for my buck in terms of time. So I'm excited to teach this lesson later today. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.